Hi there, my name's Bob Ostler, and in 3 days' time I'm going to go into hospital to get both my hips replaced. I've had a gradual deterioration over the past couple of years in my movement, my range of movement, along with an increase in pain in both hips. It doesn't stop me doing anything, but it makes life progressively more and more difficult. For example, I can still cycle, but I can't get on the bike. I have to lay it on the ground and step over it. I have trouble getting in and out of the car, trouble getting in and out of seats. Generally, it creeps up on you and gets worse and worse and worse. So I elected to go for private surgery. I'm very lucky that my wife Karen works with anaesthetists, so she was able to get first-hand recommendations from them, and I've ended up going to the Nuffield Health Wessex Hospital with Mr. Jeremy Latham. He's got a cracking YouTube channel full of all sorts of good advice, including some great gory videos of actual hip operations if you can take the blood and guts. He saw me and agreed that I was the right kind of candidate for a bilateral hip operation, so here we go, green light with any luck. Okay, this is my last night before the operation, and I have to have a shower using something called hippie scrub. Not quite sure what it's all about, but we'll soon see. Well, it's operation day now. It's all suddenly feeling very real. Hospital room does look very nice. Let's have a guided tour. Very fancy. Ten minutes to go. Mighty relieved, let me tell you. Both done, all going well so far. Well, this is my first full day after the operation. Feeling good. They got me up and around walking on a Zimmer frame today in crutches, and that all went really well. So it's all going about as well as can be expected, and I'm very happy. They warned me I might get a dip in mood tomorrow. Apparently that's not untypical, so we'll see how it goes. But so far, so good. Second day after the operation, up in the chair for the first time. No more cannula, no more catheter. Walking around on crutches and a Zimmer frame, not far, just a few steps across the room. It's hard work, but it's definitely doable, and the hips feel good, but very, very, very stiff. So I think the name of the game is going to be the physiotherapy for the next few days or weeks or months, and we'll see how the progress goes. Well, there we go. I got up, was walking nicely on crutches, went down the corridor, went up and down some steps, feeling good, thought I've got this beat, came back to bed, sat down, fainted out like a light. So I think that's nature's way of saying, don't be too cocky. And this is a long haul run. But I feel fine now, fully recovered. But it was probably a good lesson to me that I'm not Superman, and I'm going to have to take my time. But onwards and upwards. I feel a ton better today, up and about walking. Absolutely no pain at all, which I find unbelievable. The pain management here has been just miraculous. I can feel the skin stretching as I walk around a bit, but in terms of actual hip pain, zero, or completely gone. So I'm going home tomorrow morning. I'm taking some video of myself. Here, come in, we'll be on video, wait to video. I'm doing a log.
Oh, good.
So while it was very nice to get back home, there's a few rules and things you have to be careful of. Number one is the 90-degree rule. You can't have your legs at more than 90 degrees to your body like this. Absolutely can't do. The wounds will pull and it will hurt. You have to be very careful in bed. You can't roll over in bed. Well, you won't want to roll over in bed because you'll be lying on the wounds. And I found the easiest way to do that was to have a couple of pillows on the bed. Makes it much easier to avoid rolling, and it's also having your legs raised up means that your back isn't uncomfortable, and you're going to be a few weeks like that. There's a few obvious precautions to make beforehand. You'll definitely want a shower mat because you won't feel very confident in and out of the shower. You won't be getting into the bath. You won't be able to step up and over into the bath in the early stages. And you're going to have to be careful about seating. Best to seat in high seats. You won't be able to get into low seats. Well, you can get into them, but you can't get out of them. And there's every chance that you'll pull the wound. So the order of the day is high up seats, preferably with decent armrests, and that way you can sit comfortably and get up comfortably. When you leave hospital, you'll come home with a few bits of kit, which I sort of call the good, the bad and the ugly. The good is the crutches. They're your friend. You'll soon get very, very familiar with them, and you could use them in all sorts of creative ways to help put socks on, to pick things up. They're pretty useful things to have. You also get the picky-uppy device, which I didn't find much use, frankly. It'll pick up a little bit of paper, but that's about it. And the long shoe horn, which is okay. But I just found it was easier to buy slip-on shoes and not have to bother with it. And the final most important piece of kit is the toilet seat extender. You'll definitely need this. Definitely make sure that it's fixed good and tight on your loo, and if you have an option, choose a loo where you've got somewhere to put your hands on each side to help you get up again, because the whole time in this early 6 weeks you'll find it's one thing sitting down into some space or place or other, but it's another thing altogether getting up again. So the higher you are, the better. And if you try and sit in something too low, all that'll happen is you'll just have a very good chance of opening up the stitches, which obviously you don't want. So the timetable approximately goes about a fortnight or so after you've had the operation. You'll be getting the stitches out. At around the 4-week point or so, if you're lucky, you'll be driving. At around the 6-week point, the 90-degree rule is now done and over. You've done your initial recovery, and you can begin to bend and use normal seats. But you'll find that this is very much a question of how your body reacts and what feels safe and comfortable to do. I was doing very well after the first couple of weeks, and then I developed an infection in my right hip, unfortunately. Pretty rare, but it does happen, and this meant that for something like 6 weeks or so I couldn't do physiotherapy while we concentrated on getting the infection sorted out. Lots of blood tests, ultrasound examinations and whatnot, and eventually a course of antibiotics beat it. But that did put me off by at least a month in terms of recovery. At around the 12-week point, I found I could give up the crutches. Was walking up to about 2 miles or so fairly confidently, and things were all going really well until I overdid it on the exercise bike and managed to put myself back onto the crutches again for about another month. So that's just my own fault for being an idiot. but it's very easy to do because you don't know that you've overdone it when you're doing it. It's only next day that it cuts in and you realise that you've pulled something or you've overdone a muscle that wasn't quite ready for that level of exertion. Also around this point I found I could get back on my bike, which was really, really pleasing to me, very important to me. I went for a ride with my son, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Not massively far, 10 miles or so, just along the local beach and along the back roads and trails, but enough to feel that I'd done something and I was back again in the land of the living, as it were. Clearly physiotherapy is key to recovery, and my physio Paul has been seeing me every few weeks and adjusts the plan accordingly. Starts off fairly easily with just simple steps and exercises like that, and currently doing ones which are fairly hard, but the idea is they build up your glutes, your backside, which essentially loses all its muscles in the recovery time after the operation. One thing it has done now, it's made me particularly good at jumping. Okay, here we go. Wow, that was good. So where are we after 10 months? I can do everything I could probably ever do before. Can I do it 100%? No, not really. Probably 95% at the moment, I would say. I can cycle as good as I ever did before. Recently did 25 miles on the Isle of Wight, off-road, very hilly, as anyone who's ever done it will realise, and it was absolutely fine. And I now finally think that I'm back to where I was. Walking, probably almost as good. Can certainly walk 7 miles across some rough hilltop trails in Devon and the Lake District. Perhaps not fully there yet. Certainly get very tired at the end of a long walk. No problem next day, fine next day. But at the end of that kind of distance, my hips now have done it and I start to tilt a little bit like that. So otherwise I can do all the normal jobs. I was up on the roof recently, I was decorating, I was doing anything that any normal person would do. Some things are still a little difficult, but really not far off. So I took some extra physio. I had a few treatments just to concentrate on fine tuning on the sort of things that were still struggling. And as for pain, left hip 100% perfect. The right hip, bit twingy now and again, whether that's to do with the infection I had. But when I say twingy, I mean very minor, and it's nothing that can't be beaten with a couple of paracetamol. And when I say twingy, I mean after a lot of exercise or a lot of walking. In ordinary everyday living, like sitting here right now, absolutely fine. I cannot believe it's been a whole year since I first started making this video. Am I 100% better now? No, not quite. Rather like I said at the 10-month review, I'm almost there in every respect. Certainly cycling's fine, walking's pretty good, most aspects of life are pretty good. Fine motor control, occasionally a little bit clumsy. For example, I won't be appearing on the dancing programme anytime soon, but really, I can't complain. The expectations I think you have to have for this sort of operation are that you're going to be much, much better than you were, but you're not going to be exactly as you were, and it's not going to make you 25 again. That said, there's nothing I can't do. I'm living a 100% normal life and carry on exactly as I did before I ever had arthritis, which is the object of the exercise. Has it been worth it? Yes, of course it has, in every single way. The main thing is I've now got a life free of hip pain. The sort of lack of confidence I had where I would get stabbing pains that would cause my legs to collapse, that's all completely gone, no problems at all. So yes, it's been 100% worth it. So I hope this video has been of interest to anyone thinking of getting a double hip replacement. It is a big operation, but certainly I can personally recommend it. And if you've managed to follow along with this video so far, I've had great fun making it, and thank you very much indeed for the patience for watching it all the way through. And if you're just about to have an operation, the very best of luck, and I hope yours goes as well for you as mine did for me. So thank you very much, and goodbye.